Okay, welcome back, guys. So here we are. We are on a Alliance Blood Death Knight, and we are going to go through the UI changes so far, and we're going to customize our UI together to kind of make a quote-unquote minimal UI and something similar to what I am going to use when Midnight launches. When Midnight launches, I am going to use no add-ons at all, except for a few specific ones, which are going to be basically a rare scanner, so probably Silver Dragon. I'll probably use a bag add-on, and I think that's it. I'm going to try to play the game without any add-ons, because, like I said, they're going to be removing a bunch, but also you don't really need them. Obviously, a lot of people might want some add-ons to kind of skin like their bars or their unit frame and things like that, and that's fine. Those add-ons will be safe. It just might take a little longer for them to become available than normal, right? So let's have a look-see here. Let's go into the options, and let's go through the options first. So everything here should be an interface, should be all the same. So something that I'm going to change right off the bat is I'm going to put display power bars, healer only, and class colors. That's kind of just how I like to do it. Action bars, I always have 4 action bars. However, moving forward, I might be able to drop down to 3 bars with the class changes, but we'll keep it at 4 for now. If you need more than 4 bars, that's perfectly fine, but I don't ever see that being a case realistically moving forward. Maybe in the past, like a shaman or a warlock, for example, you might use more bars, but moving forward with the class pruning, I'd say it's pretty unlikely, but anything is possible. So combat, you can have your personal resource display if you would like. I'm going to leave everything the same, all of this the same. Keybinds, set those up however you like. That's totally going to be your own, like how you play. And this is what we want to get into right here, is the gameplay enhancements. So assisted highlight, I'm sure we're all aware what it is, but basically it gives you this blue ring around the next spell that the game is suggesting you use for your core damage rotation. And the single button assistant, you can use that as well if you'd like. Gave me an error there, but basically it is in our spell book up here. You could drag it, put it on the bar, and it is going to just be one button that you click, and it's going to cycle through your core damage rotation, but it's going to give you a GCD, so a global cooldown penalty, basically, right? However, if you're learning a new spec, or when I'm playing on my Steam Deck, just farming old mounts and stuff like that, I do use it. It's very handy for that. But when I'm playing on my computer and I'm doing Mythic Plus content and stuff like that, I still like the challenge and like the style of just playing with the normal quote-unquote setup. But I have been starting to use the assisted highlight. It is a good little tool that I have when madness is happening on my screen and I'm like, oh my god, what should I push next? Like I'm confused, I forgot what I was doing, and I can just glance down and it's like, hey, you should probably push this. Kind of gets you back on track. It's kind of handy that way. I used to use, oops, my bad. I used to use the add-on Hikili, which was very controversial. However, it was great for me because I play a ton of alts, and it was sometimes hard to keep track of all the changes and things like that. But unfortunately, as of right now, Hikili will not be moving forward into Midnight with us. So if there's anything that Blizzard could take from the add-on Hikili, it would be to have their add-on or have their ability here, assisted highlight, be buttons that show up in the center of your screen like Hikili did. I think that would be very good rather than having to track it on your bar. However, It's not game breaking. They don't have to do that. Assisted highlight works just as fine for, you know, helping you stay on track if you get a little lost or whatever in your rotation. Something else about single button assistant, if you hover over it, it's going to show you a list of all of the spells that it will rotate through, not in any particular order, but just the spells that it will use. And also they will be kind of yellowed in your spell book, and that shows you them as well. And these spells are the same spells that assisted highlight is going to cover. So all these other ones that are not yellowed will not be highlighted at any point in time. These are going to be your discretion on when you use the rest of these abilities. Okay? So, with that being said, that kind of covers single button assistant and assisted highlight. So next up is boss warnings. So this is completely new, and it is basically Blizzard's take on DBM or bigwigs. And moving forward, they want to make things simpler, right? Like they want to kind of get back to their roots. They don't want you to have a master's degree and 10 weak auras and DBM and a bunch of things going off telling you to play the game properly. They just want it to be much more simple, and they feel that what they are implementing is going to be enough to play the game at a competitive level, quote unquote competitive level. We're going to have to wait and see how this unfolds, of course. I have heard a rumor that DBM will still be coming with us to midnight after the recent changes, but it is not going to be what it once was. It is going to be very much so different, a little bit more dumbed down, for lack of a better word, okay? I'm going to move into midnight using strictly Blizzard default stuff, so I'm going to be using the boss warnings. So it gives us here boss warnings, text warnings, and we can have all, or we can have certain priority ones. Excuse me. We can have it hide, so no messages will show up if they're not specifically targeting us, which isn't the worst thing to have on. However, while you're learning content, it's probably better just to know what's going on. So I'd leave that unclicked. And the boss timeline, which is without a doubt the most important part of this 100%. So have that on. I will show you and explain that to you in a few minutes. Leave that unchecked. I would, at least while you're learning. The cooldown manager, I'm sure we're all very familiar with what this is. This is this right here. It's basically Blizzard's attempt at a weak aura, and honestly, I love it. I will show you what I use it for personally, and a lot of people like to use it as like a weak aura style. However, I do not, and I will show you and explain that in a few moments, but just to kind of give you an idea what it looks like. And next up, we have enable external defenses. So toggle on to view important defensive buffs in a separate customizable HUD element. So we're going to turn that on. We're going to try that out. I don't know if it actually works in the beta yet or not. And diminishing returns. So activates tracking of diminishing returns for crowd control effects in enemy group unit frames. So we can leave that on for now. And next we have Blizzard has customized and changed their nameplates. So I have it stack nameplates, enemy units. Oh, and I've been disconnected. Oh, very good. I'll see you guys in a minute. All right, hey guys, welcome back. So the servers were down for probably an hour or so. So we're gonna just jump right into it where we left off. So where we left off, we had gone through all of this screen here. We're going to re-enable that. We're going to re-enable that. And we're going to re-enable that one as well. That I believe we had all those enabled before the servers went down. And we were moving on to nameplates. So nameplates is all the same. We want to stack our enemy nameplates, and this is what they have added. So Blizzard has gone ahead. You can see over here in the right side of the screen what the nameplates now look like, and we are able to customize them a bit, which is, in my opinion, a huge step in the right direction. When it comes to like Mythic Plus dungeons and things like that, I use Quasi's Plater profile, and for those of you who don't know, Plater is probably the ultimate nameplate add-on currently out there. I'm unsure if it's going to be coming with us into Midnight or not. I haven't actually looked into the update to that. As far as I understood it, it was probably not going to make it, but with some of the recent changes, there is a chance that it might actually make it into the game, which is fine. But like I have said earlier in this video already, I am planning on going add-on-less, except for a few add-ons that I will list, which I think I did already, but I'll just reiterate really quickly. Silver Dragon as a rare scanner, that's always nice to have. A bag add-on, most likely, and that's about it, right? So let's go ahead and see what they have to offer here. So we can change the size of the nameplates. You can have it huge, or you can have it small. I think 2 is like the perfect size. You can change the buff and debuff scale size. So I'm going to put it at 100%. And we can change the style. So we have the default OG Blizzard style here. We have the more modern style. We have a thin style, which is very similar to the OG. We have the block style, which again is very similar to the modern style. And we have one that is cast focused, where it is a small health bar with a much larger cast bar. Okay, so I'm thinking I like modern or block. Probably gonna go with the block. It's kind of more my style. The cast bar and the nameplate itself is kind of the same size, which I like. So that's the style that I'm gonna rock. Then we can change what it shows. So I have it showing health percentage. I like showing the health percentage, but you don't have to have it on there if you don't want to. You could have value and percentage. You could have the rarity icon. I like having the rarity icon. I think it's kind of nice to know. Excuse me. So I'm going to have that, and I'm going to put health percentage back on. The cast bar information, so you can have the spell name, yes or no. I like to have it there while I'm learning new content and learning what spells are very dangerous and stuff, so I'm going to leave that on. The icon, you could probably lose the icon. I don't think it's super needed, but we'll leave it on for now. You could have who the spell is targeting, which I think is really cool. The Plater profile I use has that, but I'm going to turn it off for right now. And highlight important cast. So basically, if the cast bar is gray, it's non-interruptible, so you can't interrupt it. If it is this gold color, it means it can be interrupted. And if you have highlight important cast on, it's going to put this extra glow on the cast bar. And that means that spell needs to be interrupted. Otherwise, there's going to be some big damage incoming, which is amazing that they added that. That is why I use Plater, so that way I can use Quasi's profile and know which mobs are casters and which mobs have spells that I absolutely have to interrupt. So that is a step in the right direction. The only thing that could make this better, in my opinion, is giving us the ability to color the cast or the health bars based on the mobs and import and export profiles that other players make. So for example, Quasi could make a color coordinated profile and I could import his profile, for example. Now, will they do that? I don't know. I think it would be awesome if they did, but I don't think they will, but we can hope, right? I mean, I think it would be really cool. And you can have it highlight when the spell cast bar is targeting yourself. So you could have it, instead of having target name on, you could just have this, or you could have both. Totally up to you. I think I'm going to turn it off for now, but it is a nice feature. So next up we have aggro. So progressive gives us this glow around the bar, which is nice, or we have flash, which is going to flash the bar if you take aggro. I don't really like the flash. I think it's kind of too much. I like the progressive one. Now I play tank specs, so knowing if I hold aggro or not is very important, and I kind of really like the glow. I don't think it's working 100% here in the beta, but it will be probably what I use when Midnight releases. So, controls how your buffs, debuffs, forms of crowd control are displayed on the nameplates of enemy NPCs. So, mob buffs, personal debuffs, and shared CC. You can click all of those if you'd like. Enemy buffs, personal debuffs, and a big debuff. You can have that all showing. All of this stuff showing. This is going to be all personal preference. You will have to play around with this yourself. I'm going to leave it default for right now. And we can also change the padding on the debuffs, so you can move them higher and lower from the bar if you want. And you can simplify nameplates, so minions would be much more simple, or they would be, you know, you can mess with this if you want to. It's not perfect yet. It is in the beta, obviously. So all in all, the direction of this is moving in a very, very good direction, I guess is the easiest way to say it, right? I really like it. It looks good. It's showing us information we need, not in a cluttered fashion, and the cast bar upgrade to me is massive. So if they can polish it a little bit more, 100% I'll be using this. I won't need any add-ons for that, and I'm hoping that that is the case. Okay, so let's go ahead now and dive into creating this actual UI. So to do that, obviously, we go into edit mode. And what I'm going to do is we're going to just start kind of right off the bat here. Whereas I like to take the talking head and I like to jam it up into the top. That's just kind of where I like to have it. So we're going to put talking head up in the top. Objective tracker, I leave default, and I actually don't mind the position of the player and target frame. Now you could move this, we'll show grid here, you could move this up, say like something like this if you want it more center screen, let's say, right? We'll just go SS for fun. So you could have yours up more center screen. You could have both of them up way more center screen, but to me, I like to keep the center of my screen clear of all clutter because I like to see what's going on. And that is one of the reasons why I never played with class weak auras. I know that is very controversial to say. A lot of people do, but I do not because I simply don't like it. Okay, I like to have this whole area of my screen clear so I can visually see. And because of that, as you can see, I don't need to play with the cooldown manager because, for example, if we were to play like that, let's say we had this up here and this up here like this, focus frame, which I don't even use anyway. I always have that turned off. Right, so we were like in battle like this, then you could take the cooldown manager, for example, and we could have essential cooldowns could be up here, let's say, maybe like there or something, and utility cooldowns could be right below it, like that or something, right? Save all of that, and there you go, right? That would be more of like a quote-unquote weak aura styled UI, right? And you'd have all of your action bars down below hidden, minus the Blizzard art bar. Of course, you can't hide this one without an add-on, of course. And that would be how a lot of players have played up until recently. And that's fine. If you're into that, there's no problem with that at all. But it's always been funny to me because why would I do this? If I wanted to do this, I would just simply move my action bars into this form. But again, personal preference here, guys. Everybody's going to have their UI differently. But I like to keep mine super simple. So I'm going to reset this stuff to default position. And I am going to take the cooldowns and I'm going to make them as tiny as I can. And I'm going to have them hidden. Okay, I'm going to take utility cooldowns. I'm going to make them as small as I can. And I'm going to have them hidden. And I'm going to just jam them way up here in the corner because I don't want to look at them ever again. I don't use them. Okay. What I do use, however, is tracked buffs. I like to have them there, and I like to have these bad boys right about there. Okay. And I will show you why right now. So we're going to save that, and we're going to go to advanced cooldown settings. Okay. Now this has come a long ways. So this first page here is going to be for your utility cooldowns and for your, like your main essential cooldowns, right? And that's good. If you want to use that and create that, by all means, please do. I use the buff screen. And what I do is, again, going to be massively controversial, but it's just the way that I play. So I always put Bone Shield as a buff. I put Dancing Rune Weapon as a buff. I put Icebound Fortitude and Vampiric Blood. I put my Anti-Magic Shell and my Lichborn. And I get rid of this and I get rid of that. And that is how I play Blood Death Knight. I have my Bone Shields. I have, excuse me, my Dancing Rune Weapon visible. I know when my Vampiric Blood is active. I know when my Icebound Fortitude is active. I know when my Anti-Magic Shell is active. And I know when my Lichborn is active. And for myself, I've hit 3K. This works for me. It might not work for everybody, but it works for me. And this is just how I like to have it. Some things I might throw up there. Maybe I might throw, you know, Death Advance as a bar perhaps. Or maybe I'd throw it as a buff, let's say. You could do that. We could put Consumption as a bar or buff. Totally up to you. And this is 100% going to be personal preference here. I'm just showing you as an example how I always have mine set up and how I'm going to have mine set up moving into Midnight. So I want that to only show up in combat, and I want this to only show up in combat as well. I want it to show timer, and I want tooltips to always be shown. I like having the icon, and I like having the name. Now the bars, I am going to make them a little bit smaller, maybe like 110%, something like that. And the buffs, I'm going to make them 120%, just like that. Okay, so now if I cast Death and Decay, it didn't show up because I'm not in combat. I clicked the wrong button there. I want it to be always visible, but show when inactive. Sorry, that was my bad, guys. So there we go. Death and Decay. I know when it's active. I know when I need to press it again. If I hit Vampiric Blood, buff shows up. I can tell you that it's active right now. I have good defensives running. Now I can cast Icebound Fortitude, for example. Good to go, right? So keeps it simple, keeps it clean, keeps my visibility very good here in the center of my screen. Again, guys, this is all 100% personal preference, okay? So that's kind of got this area here set up. I'm pretty happy with that for now. So what we're going to do now is remove Talking Head. And I would like to take my experience bar, and what I do with it is I always jam it up at the top center of my screen. Some people might like that, some might not. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to organize my bars a little bit different. I'm going to jam bar 3 underneath, and I'm going to jam bar like so, and I put bar 3 underneath, so bar 1, 2, and 3. Kind of a little weird. You can always set this up however you want. Remove bar art, which for some reason it didn't remove it. Oh, there we go. Always show buttons, click. And there we have it. So this is literally how I play. It's very simple. I just remove the bar art because I feel like it's cleaner. And this is exactly how I play. Now, 3 bars should be enough for pretty much every class moving forward with how the class pruning is going to take effect. But you can use the same setup with 4 bars, so on, so forth, right? The next thing I do is I take action bar 4. Now, action bar 4 usually holds my consumables, my random mount, my transmog mount, and the male mount, the gilded Brutosaur or whatever. F1, F2, F3 are those 3 mounts, and then any other mounts that I might like. And of course, like I said, my consumables. So I usually make it 3 columns, and I usually stuff it somewhere over here, something like that maybe. But what I might do actually is put it there for now. I think that looks all right. And we are going to turn on our cast bar. So I would like to move my cast bar to the center, and I would like it to be a little bit bigger, maybe something like that. That looks good. Save. There we go. Okay, cast bar done. Our mounts over there. Now I'm going to also make this smaller, maybe 80%. And we are taking shape here already. We have very clean UI. Pet frame, I usually stuff it off to the left, and I always put my pet bar. I usually do it in a few rows, maybe 4 rows, something like that. And I usually tuck it beside the action bars, something like that. Now that will be personal preference. You can have it along the bottom if you'd like. And the stance bar, I always tuck it at the very bottom of this, just like so. Now obviously we're on Death Knight right now, so that doesn't really matter, right? So press save on that, but we can hide it. We don't need it showing on this character. Now, let's talk party frames. All right. So here's our party frames. Now, I do not raid. I do LFR, but I don't do raiding. So this is mostly my focus is party frames, right? I use raid style party frames. I just find it cleaner and it just looks better in my opinion. Now, as you can see, there's a lot more going on here. They are working to make their raid frames more usable so we don't need add-ons for it, especially for healers. And what we need to do is go raid frame settings. We want to display power bar, but I only want to see the healer's power bar. And I like showing class colors. Okay, and I want to make it bigger, so I'll make it a bit wider, and I would like to make it bigger. I like to see what's going on right there. Seems like a good spot for me because when I'm playing, all this stuff's going on. I can have a quick glance off to my left and see my party's health. Very good. Some people might want to move it in a little bit more center screen, and that's totally fine. But I like to leave mine somewhere's about here. Right? So it's there, I can see it, but it's not taking up all of my screen. You can display border if you want, and obviously you could use a horizontal layout if that's something that you were into. But that works good for me. Raid frames, I always just leave in the corner because they expand out like this, and it's fine. Like I said, I'm not a raider, so that doesn't bother me at all. I don't need to worry about that. Boss frames, I leave alone. Arena frames, I leave alone. I do not do messing around with this. Boss frames, you could use a larger frame if that's something you're into, or you could have the cast bar underneath, but I like it on the side, so that's fine there. Buffs and debuffs. So I usually put my buffs because I track my important buffs, or the ones that I feel are important that I want to track center screen. So I always make my other buffs up here like that 80-70%-ish area. I like to keep it small, and I like to keep the padding as low as it can be, right? And I like to have my debuffs be a little bit more prominent, because obviously those are a little bit more important. So I like to actually have them 130%. I found works good for me. Obviously, everybody's different. Okay. So we'll save that, and that's got that under control. I'm happy with that. We'll leave that bar selected for now. Pet bar. So encounter bar, I'm gonna just tuck it below, like that. Personal resource display. Now, I do not use personal resource display. However, if you want to, you can. That's up to you, but I don't use it. This is what I want to talk about now. Blizzard's own damage meter. It's gorgeous. I mean, look at it. It looks even better than what I could have imagined. Unfortunately, at this stage of the beta, it excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. I don't talk very often, and making this video has me doing a lot of talking, so I apologize. This damage meter, to me, is beautiful. I'm loving how it's looking. There's lots of things we can change. Unfortunately, I can't show it to you in action. Like I said, it's not currently working, but we get to play around with it a little bit. So it has a default and a thin style, depending on what you like. Thins, I like thin. It's nice, but I also kind of like the default. You can have minimal, compact, or complete numbers. This doesn't work currently. We can change the height of the frame. I usually, I run dungeons, so even with details, I like to show 5, right? I mean, it shows everybody. I don't got to scroll. It's just, it works nice. Padding, you can change. It doesn't change right now, unfortunately. Opacity, you can change that as well. And the text size, you can have small or you can have massive. I'm going to leave it at 100%. You can have it always visible, you can have it in combat only, and you can have it hidden if that's something that you want. I'd say always visible is fine. Show spec icon and show class color, you can toggle that on and off. Obviously, I love class colors, so that would have that on 100%. And the only thing that I hope that we can do here shortly will be not only change this height of, you know what I mean, but change the actual height of the unit itself, right? So I usually tuck it in somewhere around here, and actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and put it in my original spot, and I'm going to tuck it in just like that. That's normally how I have my details on retail. And in fact, I might take this bar and I might do something like this, maybe do 2 rows and maybe do horizontal and maybe tuck it, I'm not sure. Maybe I'll do vertical 2 rows and I'll just tuck it in something like that, you know. I mean, it's out of the way, but I could still click on it if I wanted to. And I always have this hidden, show only out of combat. So when I get in combat, this disappears. Just a moment, guys. Okay, sorry about that, guys. My dog was going crazy. The mailman was here. And you know dogs and mailmen. So, yeah, it's looking really good. The next thing that I want to talk about is the boss warnings. So, oh, I guess we should do extra abilities too. Extra abilities I always tuck off to the side of the action bar, something like this. And the possess bar, I usually tuck it just below, something like that. And okay, external devices. So this is going to be an interesting one. I think probably what I'll do with it is play around with it and see how it actually interacts in the game. But I think for now, we'll just leave it default. Again, it's not working currently in the beta, so it's hard to decide where you want that information. But I'll leave it default up there for now. Okay, now for the fun part, guys. Boss warnings. So, here we have minor boss warnings. So if it's something that's not going to kill you, it's going to be a text message right here, just like DBM. If it's medium, danger. And if it's critical, it's going to kill you. Boom, bang, right? This is how it's going to show. I think that's fine. The only thing I might do is actually revert it. So that way, minor's at the top. Medium's there. And... oh boy, come on. Critical's at the bottom. Just so it's more obvious. But again, doesn't have to be. And this right here is the piece that we really wanted to see. And this is the boss timeline. So, you know in DBM, you have the bars that count down for the ability that's coming. Well, that's what this is. And the style of this is beautiful. It looks exactly like what a lot of WeakAuras look like nowadays. And if this works good, this is peak, like pretty much all you're gonna need as far as I'm concerned, right? I will have it in a or a vertical fashion. I can guarantee you that right now. And it's going to be somewhere in this area, probably something like that, maybe a little bit higher. But I think what I'll do is we'll make icon size normal. I'll lower the size, put it about there. Increase the size of the icon slightly. Give it a background. Why not? That's kind of cool. Don't have to though, you could. And we want it to show in combat only. You could have it so it shows the spell name, which is nice in a learning aspect, but once you learn what they look like, you won't need that, but having the spell name is cool. One thing I would like is to be able to put the spell name on the other side, maybe. Excuse me. Being able to move that to the other side or something like that would be nice, but not game-breaking by any means. And show tooltips. That's always nice to be able to hover over the ability and know what is going to happen. So there you have it. This is basically what my UI is going to look like when we go into Midnight, right? Damage meter, party frames, boss warnings, experience bar. Anything of importance that I need to know is all right here, just below my character. I have good visibility of my character. When I zoom all the way out, I can see everything that's going on around him. He's not going to be standing and stuff. If I get a big buff, or sorry, a debuff that's going to do damage to me, I'll be able to clearly see it because it's going to be a big icon. Now, usually you don't have this many debuffs, so something you could do is you could move it out more, so it's a little more prominent, but you don't have to do that. Lower that down a little bit, something like that maybe. And yeah, so super simple, but that is basically what it's going to look like, right? And if we get into combat here, we can have a look at what it looks like. we need our death and decay down. We know we have bone shield, but damage is incoming. We can use Icebound Fortitude. We know it's active because the buff wasn't there. Quick glance down, we can see on our bars. That's where the cooldown manager does come in handy. You don't have to glance around on your bars. You can have things set up more specifically. And we can do that right now, actually, as an example. Essential cooldowns here. We can make that bigger, make it like 100%, let's say. And advanced. Oh, I should move that somewhere where we can save and exit this. Let's move it somewhere where we can see it a little better. We'll just put it center of the screen, why not? Advanced cooldown. So if it's something that I want, so basically, let's say I only want to know when a vampiric strike is going to proc, and I want to know when my defensives are available. Let's say that, right? So if we click that and we go back into battle. Oh, hang on. Hang on, I have it so it's hidden. Let's do always visible just for the sake of this. So you can see, right, it's going to show us that it's visible a little bit more, easier to see. Now, again, how I have mine laid out, this is useless to me, right? I mean, all my information is already right here. However, if you had your health bars moved up, maybe you had your action bars hidden, so something like this, maybe like you had this bar hidden, and you can't hide this one, which I feel is strange, but it is what it is. So you had those bars hidden, then it's like, okay, now it's nice to know that my Icebound Fortitude is available, right? It's going to be completely how you decide to play the game, basically, right? I like to just keep it simple. I don't have a problem with my action bars being visible. I don't have a problem with looking at them to play the game. It's just the way that it is for me, and everybody's different. So just kind of wanted to give you guys an idea of what my what my UI is going to look like, right? Just give you guys some ideas. If you ask me, this UI is very clean. It gives us the information that we need. It keeps the center of my screen clutter-free, and it looks all right. Like I don't mind it. I think it looks good. The only things that I might change would be maybe I'd get a map, or a mini map add-on to reskin that, or maybe I'd get something to reskin the action bars, make them more darker perhaps, or a class color, something like that, right? Other than that, you know, I'm happy with this UI, and I'm happy with the steps that Blizzard is taking in that direction. And I feel like they're only going to build on it, right? So with that being said, let's talk about the removal of add-ons and my thoughts on that. So Blizzard is removing all combat add-ons, quote unquote. Do I think that is a good decision? I do. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with that, but I feel like the game has become really complex for no real reason. When I think of World of Warcraft, I don't think of a competitive game. I don't think of something that you should have to research on your own time to be able to min-max it, if that's something you want to do. I think of it as a casual, you just worked all day, you just want to relax, quest, maybe run a Mythic Plus dungeon, maybe jump in with 30 of your good friends on a guild and have some fun in a raid. But it's not something that you need to take in a competitive aspect. And that is kind of where the game is at currently, with how difficult some of the encounters have become. And I think Blizzard removing some of that stuff and taking a step back and simplifying the game a bit and simplifying the classes and things like that, it's only going to be a positive change. It's going to be a shock at first, yes, but I think it's going to be a positive change. I think it's going to bring new life into the game, and I also think a lot of people are going to want to return to the game now because they won't have to download 40 add-ons and get a bunch of weak auras and things like that to be quote-unquote competitive. So, sorry, I was dying there for a second. So yeah, that's my opinion on it. I think that the simplifying of the game, the removal of some add-ons is a positive change. And they have said that they are going to probably filter some back in. We'll have to wait and see how that works. But I think it's a good change. I'm happy with how it's looking. As far as the class pruning goes, quote unquote, everything that I've seen so far in the beta, it's not even that bad, realistically. Like, it's a lot of things that you probably weren't clicking anyways, or it was kind of just like you were spamming 100 buttons that you didn't need to be spamming, and now you just don't even have that option. You don't just, they're just gone, right? Like, that's all a positive change to me. I think that if most classes can be played with their core rotation and most of their utilities, let's say, and defensives on 2 12-slot bars, that is good. You should not have 4 bars full of abilities. I mean, there's no way you're hitting all those abilities all the time, whether they're based on a certain situation or not. It's just, it's too much. It's not fun, point blank. And some people will disagree with me on that. I think more people would agree. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I think it is a positive change. I think that a lot of people kind of overreacted at first at the information. But I think once they see how it's actually playing out, it's really not too big of a deal. Also, the ability to min-max your class will always be there. There's always going to be people who are better or who take the time to do that extra bit of research and min-max their character or really thoroughly understand the spec or class and can outperform somebody else. Like that level of achievement will always be there no matter what, unless it becomes a literal one button spec. Which we have seen that with the introduction of the single button assistant. However, a person who still knows their spec can outperform that. You know what I mean? So it's like, I think it's all positive changes. I think we're going to have to wait and see what comes of it. But I'm holding true to the positive side. I think that Midnight is going to be an absolutely amazing expansion. I think it's going to take a little bit of time for some add-on creators to get that flavor that a lot of UI creators like myself really like and miss, kind of. But I do know and feel that it's going to come eventually, right? It's a work in progress, right? So all in all, I think the game's taken a huge step in a positive way. I think that people will return to the game, and I think that we're going to get some new blood into the game, which is nothing but positive. And I think I'm going to continue to enjoy this game for many years to come. Like, I love World of Warcraft. It's a lot of fun, and I'm excited to play Midnight. I can't wait to play the actual expansion. So without further ado, the last thing we are going to do in this video or little series is we are going to take a look at the tier sets currently available to look at on the beta. So here we have the Death Knight, the Raid Finder set, normal, heroic, and mythic. And this set, I mean, oh my god. Death Knight has gone off the last little while. This is no exception. What a set. It looks so good. I cannot wait to get my hands on this mythic set. I can't wait. Like, beautiful. Next up is Warrior. So we got Raid Finder, Normal, Heroic, and Mythic. And I'll be honest here, guys. Mythic looks good, but this normal set, this red set, goes so hard. I can't wait to see this on my Undead Prot Warrior. It's crisp. I really like it. Paladin usually always has an amazing set, and this is no exception. This is a beautiful set. Personally, I don't think it goes as hard as the last couple sets that they have gotten, within Season 1 or Season 2. Sorry, Season 2 or Season 3. Those two sets were top tier, and Dragonflight Season 3, I think, or 4, was probably some of the best Paladin sets I've ever seen in my life. Like, where is it here? I don't even have it because I slacked really hard in Dragonflight, but I can't seem to find it here. I'm looking for the other one. So there's Mirdrasil. Do I have it favorited? I do. Aberrus. Okay, there it is. The Aberrus Mythic set is insane. And obviously, the season, where is it here? So that'd be Season 1. Season 2 set was beautiful. So good. And of course, the Season 3 set. This set goes so hard, it's not even funny. I personally think this is the best set, one of the best sets in the game. It's so good. And in comparison, it's not, like, this one's not as good as that one, in my opinion. But it is still a beautiful set. I do like it. It's very nice. Okay, that's enough rambling about Paladins here. Let's continue on. So Hunter, I really like this set. I like it a lot, actually. I think it looks good. I love the coloring. I love the glow of the skulls. Heroic looks great. The Mythic set, the purple set, looks amazing. I love it. This actually gives me a reason to farm up my Hunter a little bit. I love it. The Rogue set, unfortunately, we can't view it in the game right now, but you can on Wowhead. I'll probably drop a link to the Wowhead page to look at these on your own if you'd like, in the description. Priest, honestly, I friggin' love it. I think this looks so good. I think that this bit here on the side is so wicked. Like, it's kick-ass. I love it. This blue set is beautiful. I can't wait to see the full set of this one. It's going to look good. And obviously, purple always goes hard. Looks really good. Death Knight we looked at. Shaman. Shamans are one of those classes that almost always has a nice set, and this is no exception. I mean, look at that. It looks so good. I love it. Heroic. The Mythic set, honestly, looks really nice. I really like that a lot. But all of them look good. Mage, yeah, you know, it's okay. I mean, it's a mage, right? I mean, realistically, mages are a little strange, but it looks good, realistically. I think that the Mirdrasil set may be a little bit better. And also of course, the Manaforge Omega set is one of my favorite mage sets to ever be added into the game, in my opinion. So there's that. Excuse me. Warlocks, again, another class that always has amazing tier sets. Again, no exception. I mean, look at that. It looks so good. Normal looks great. I love it. Heroic looks good too. And the Mythic set, obviously, goes above and beyond. Looks fantastic. I love it. Next up is Monk, and I got to tell you guys, this is probably the best Monk set they've ever put in the game as far as my opinion goes. Like, how can you not love that? Don't get me wrong. The Mana for, no, was it mana? No, it wasn't mana. It would have been Liberation of Undermine. This set, I mean, so sick. I love it, but it's not. This one's better. It is. I mean, that helmet, so cool. The normal set goes so hard. Hero set looks wicked, and the purple mythic set, oh my god, it looks so good. Like, I'm actually gonna level a monk, and like I have to actually play my monk at some point in the future and farm out this set. It is so good. Next up is Druid. This is so good, it's not even funny. When I race change my, probably all 3 of my Druids, because I just need a change with that class, and why not change their appearance drastically to Haranir. This is going to look so good on a Haranir, or Haranir, or however you pronounce their name, guys. It's not even funny. It's so good. I mean, look at that. I kind of skipped over all of them, didn't I? But normal, oh my goodness. Hero, man, no, mythic, like, honest to god, Raid Finder goes so hard, and the mythic set is great, but I swear, I think the Raid Finder set, believe it or not, might be my favorite. It looks good. Demon Hunter, you know, I actually really like the set, but I do not like the helmet. I think if we can put a different helmet on it, can I don't know if I can, like, even if we put like one of these helmets on it from Legion Remix, unfortunately I can't really look at my, I can't look, or maybe I can, hang on. Demon Hunter. I don't think it changed. Oh, kind of did. Like, even if we put one of these helmets on instead, or even like this, or, you know, or maybe just go no helmet. I don't know. Like, I'm not sold on the helmet, to be honest, but I do like the armor appearance itself. I think it looks normal, looks really good. Hero looks great, and the mythic set, honestly, it looks so good. I really like it. Throw on this other cape that we just got in Legion Remix. Throw this cape on there, this bad boy, for that mythic set, and that would go so hard. It's not even funny. It would be amazing. And of course, we can't forget about our evoker friends. Unfortunately, I don't know if they'll ever figure out how to make armor look good on an evoker, which drives me crazy, because a Worgen, you can equip armor on a Worgen. So what is the problem here, Blizzard? Figure it out. Like, let's get going here. There's no reason why Dragon Form should not be able to have this armor appear. However, in the human visage, this is very nice. Super clean, super simple. I love this white version. The heroic version looks good, and the mythic red version obviously goes hard. I love it. It looks really good. And so there you have it. There's all the tier sets we can currently view. Like I said, I'll drop a link to the Wowhead page if you want to look through all of them in the description below. But other than that, guys, that's going to wrap up my little beta series. I'll continue to post some videos about the beta as time progresses. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys, you know, got some information out of here, or got some opinions. Maybe you agree with my opinions, maybe you don't. Either way, thank you for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.